Welcome back, ODHtv. I'm going to recap for you BMF Season 3, Episode 9, Death Trap. The episode begins with young Terry and Meech sitting in a park talking about how many times they watched Scarface and how they're making their own version of Tony Montana's The World Is Yours. And they made plans to one day be relaxing in Miami. The scene then switches to Terry meeting up with Meech in Miami. Terry is asking Meech about the mechanic, and Meech explains to him that this mechanic's name is Francois. He's very selective and is introduction only. Mac Attack the boxer is going to introduce them tonight, but he needs to meet them at the club first. Meech also goes on to say that the Red Dogs have locked down everything, and if they don't get this mechanic, they're not going to be able to transport anything. But if they can get Francois to build these custom safes in their cars, they'll be untouchable. Everything is fine until Markeisha walks up, and Meech can't believe that Terry brought the one person he can't stand on his business trip. We switch over to the strip club in Miami where Mac Attack wanted to meet. While Mac is arranging to meet up with Francois, Terry notices Angel dancing on the stage and asks if Meech knew that she was here. She spots Meech, and so do the MKs. They're ready to fight, but then they realize that the MKs are carrying weapons, so they leave the club quickly. Jen goes over to Brian's house. She says she got his message last night that he had some sort of situation. She asks him what happened and what happened to his knuckles. He told her that his son was on his mind and he was drinking and that he called her after he killed Tyson.
What the fuck, Brian?
He said Kevin's in the ground and he's not going to let him walk above it. She gets pissed and asks where the body is. Brian says it's in a strategic location. Jen says Henrietta is going to be pissed when she finds out that her cousin has been taken out, and then comes up with the idea of planting a listening device to see what kind of information they can get. Back in Miami, Terry is telling Markeisha he needs her to stay at the resort because there's some people that they pissed off last night and it's not safe for her to be out. Markeisha, knowing that Terry is on a business trip, doesn't seem to care and wants to go have fun and tells him he's not going to ruin her vacation. She tells him if he doesn't want to have fun with her, she's going to go have fun by herself. Just then, Meech walks in and tells Terry he has the address to Francois the mechanic. Since Mac Attack had to leave town after the incident at the club, they have to go meet Francois by themselves. Just then, they get a call from Loco who tells them they have to pick up the product and drive it back, because he only has one pilot that he trusts and he's occupied right now. In the last episode, Glock sent one of his men to take out Meech at a hotel. He was thrown out of a window, and now they're having a funeral for him. While Glock and his crew vow to take revenge on Meech, Angle gets up and walks out of the funeral. One of his crew members asks who she is, and Glock says she's a businesswoman that aligns herself with anybody who suits her needs, and decides to follow her so she can lead him to his enemies. Remy tells what seems to be his new number 2 that since all those MKs were indicted at the raid on Techwood, that they shouldn't be a problem for them anymore. But they need to keep their eyes and ears open. Since Meech is out there, they need to find out his next move. At the Campbell Brothers studio, Charles is practicing when some of the members walk in on him. They love what they hear and they invite him on a paid 6-week tour. Terry and Meech finally meet up with Francois. He's reluctant to work with them until Terry hands him a wad of cash. Says we'll be back with the rest tomorrow. Terry says he has a surprise for him that's going to win him over. Charles, still excited about the opportunity to go on tour with the Campbell Brothers, wants to share it with Lucille. He asks her to come with him so they can see places they've never seen before, and it could be like the honeymoon they never had. She tells him he just wants her all to himself and not to pretend like the invitation is about fixing their relationship. Angel is on her way to work and she sees she's being followed by Glock. She realizes her life is in danger and she needs to tell Meech. Henrietta is talking to her uncle and she's upset that she can't find her cousin Tyson. Remember last episode he was taken out by Bryant. Meanwhile, Jen is back undercover, clumsily trying to put a listening device in Henrietta's cane. Jen almost gets caught when Henrietta walks over, and she tells Henrietta she can't stop thinking about her. She sees her old commanding officer walk in talking to Blaze, and she tells Henrietta she wants to get out of here. They get back to Henrietta's place where Jen is able to place the listening device in her cane. They have a drink, and then Jen decides to get intimate with Henrietta. Angel is finally able to get away from Glock and is able to catch up with Meech. She lets him know she was being followed and that she can't go back. Meech tells her she was right about the information she gave him about Glock wanting to take him out. Meech vows to protect her. The 4 of them are back at the hotel and Meech instructs them to stay there because it's too dangerous and they have one more thing they have to do. Meech gives Angel a weapon while Marquisha is still being difficult and argumentative, but Terry gives her one also. They meet back up with Francois and let him know they want him to set up shop in Atlanta, where he'll be working on a fleet of exotic cars with an unlimited budget. They gift him a Porsche as a gift in good faith and then bring him a few more cars and vans that they need worked on immediately. He's introduced to the rest of the crew and then he agrees to work with them. Terry sends Hoop back to Detroit to run things till he gets back. The rest of them wait there for the cars to be finished so they can pack all the product inside for the drive. Maurice and Lucille are having dinner at a restaurant. Lucille asks why we're eating in a hotel. Maurice responds by telling her he's always wanted to be intimate with her. Hands her the key to his room and tells her this could be the start of the rest of your life. They go upstairs and start making out, but then she stops and says she's still married and leaves. While everyone is out, Nicole snuck Breeze in the house. Her father comes home and Breeze has to leave through the window, and Charles says we're going out to eat. While Jen and Bryant are listening to Henrietta's conversations, she tells Bryant there's no one on the police force they can trust, so she's going to go to Councilman Amberson for help. The job is complete and Francois is demonstrating how the safes work, while Meech is thanking Terry for the hard work he put in while they're down in Miami. Remy's number 2 tells him that Meech had a run-in with the MKs in Miami, and that he saw Tina and Duffy driving vans out of Atlanta. He thinks they went down there to pick up product and drive it back. Remy says we're not letting any more outsiders back in our... Blaze is at the morgue with the corrupt Major Gar, identifying Tyson's body. He asks Blaze how does he want the investigation handled, but Blaze says he'll handle it. Henrietta comes in and wants to see her cousin, and her uncle asks where was he found. When the Major gives a location, Henrietta realizes that's around the corner from Terry's restaurant. She threatens to end him, but Blaze tells her she's not going to do anything. Jen and Bryant are listening to this conversation, and she tells him she saw the Major at the gambling spot with Blaze. She knew he was corrupt. She asks what should we do, and Bryant says let's follow the path that Henrietta leads us on and let Terry and her shoot it out. Terry gets back to the hotel where Marquisha and Angel are waiting. Angel goes next door to see Meech, and Marquisha starts an argument with Terry. She wants to know why they had to wait there for 2 days. He explains they had to guard the wait until the cars were done. Terry tells Marquisha she needs to go home and he booked her a flight because he has to drive the wait back, but she's not hearing any of it. She still somehow believes they're supposed to be on vacation. She said she could have stayed home and done whatever she wanted instead of being there with him. Terry tells her this is not the time or the place for this conversation. We'll talk when we get home. Marquisha says the only thing that'll be waiting for you are LaWanda's milk-stained bras, and she leaves. Angel, Meech, and Terry are about to leave when they see Glock and the MKs enter the hotel lobby. Terry asks Angel if she set them up, but Meech says nah, some of his homies must have had their eyes on us. They make a break for the car and get spotted by Glock. Meech jump kicks him and stomps him out. The MKs start firing and they hit Glock by mistake. They narrowly escape with their lives. They get back to the garage and tell everybody we have to leave right now. The MKs are right behind us. They'll meet at South Beach. Back in Detroit, Charles comes home and asks Lucille one last time to come with him on tour. But she says no, and that she thinks she's in love with Maurice. Everyone makes it back to South Beach safe, and Meech and Terry stand by the water talking about what it's like to lead. But back in Detroit, Hoop is at the restaurant taking the garbage out back. Henrietta's waiting for him, and he gets shot. When they get back to Atlanta, they all get pulled over by the Red Dogs who have received an anonymous tip. All of their cars are impounded, but Meech says there's no way his story ends like this, because in his version, he's the champion and the savior. Let me know what you think. Did Remy tip off the Red Dogs? Will Terry finally be done with Marquisha? And why did Detective Jen sleep with Henrietta after she already planted the listening device?
Get em. Player to player, I mean. Games that you playing, I see. The chance that I'm taking, I mean. These things that I'm saying, I'm sorry.